Ben Simmons situation just took a very unexpected turn that I honestly wouldn't expect for a team to just come out and straight up say this. I think this situation is extremely unique, and well, I'm just gonna get to it, man. Before we get to the content, I just want to remind you guys, we're giving away multiple copies of NBA 2K22. All you have to do to enter is make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram. If you want daily NBA news and updates, also make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell and leave a like on this video, because I'm making this video with a sore throat, man, so any help would be appreciated. And now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro.
Broussard, how does this play out in Philly?
Well, it seems like it's coming together for the perfect trade, right? I mean, they want Damian Lillard in Philly. Portland could start all over. They have a new coach in Chauncey Billups. You build around Ben Simmons. I mean, that's how this should end out. But it will take Damian Lillard going to the Portland Trail Blazers and saying, look, I want to be moved. And I want you to move me to Philadelphia. And I think that the Blazers would work with Dame. Now, they're going to do what's best for them at the end of the day.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? So the Ben Simmons situation is by far one of the strangest situations that I think I've ever covered while doing NBA content, because very rarely do you see a scenario where a team comes out and says, hey, we don't really know if this guy is going to be our future at the point guard position. We don't know if he's championship point guard material. Then pivot 24 hours later and say, hey, we have a contingency plan in place for Ben Simmons. Don't worry, we believe in him and we're going to try to help him shoot the basketball, all the way to the point where they are publicly saying what his trade value is and trying to approach teams for ridiculous trades where the valuation is clearly not being agreed upon, all the way to the point we're at today, where it seems like the Sixers may even keep Ben Simmons. Check this out, because after an earlier source from Jake Fisher about a month ago stated that the Philadelphia 76ers haven't been able to really even get in touch with Ben Simmons since the season ended. Like, even though there was an intent to have a workout plan or whatever, like in any offseason, that's always been the case. The Sixers haven't been able to align with the development plan for Ben Simmons. After a source in late July said that Toronto might be interested in acquiring Ben Simmons, according to Jeremy Woo, before inevitably declining a trade offer where the Sixers asked for a sign and trade featuring Kyle Lowry and then an inclusion of Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and the number 4 pick in the NBA draft for Ben Simmons. After declining a trade offer of Malcolm Brogdon and a late first-round pick, and eventual rumors in regards to the Golden State Warriors being open to adding Ben Simmons, but being internally divided on Ben Simmons as a result of a questionable fit with the Golden State Warriors. He pretty much occupies Draymond Green's role. We got reports that the San Antonio Spurs, the Golden State Warriors, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are amongst teams that are interested in Ben Simmons. And finally, a Barstool Sports report that Ben Simmons would be willing to sit out, and that according to Kendrick Perkins, he's not answering phone calls, he doesn't want to be with the 76ers, and from what he's heard, he's willing not to report to training camp and will go as long as it takes to get himself out of Philadelphia. Now, the interesting part is I don't think there's a single player in the NBA that needs training camp more than Ben Simmons, considering his jump shot, but it's been a very strange offseason ever since the Philadelphia 76ers officially lost to the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And while questions loomed about the future of the Philadelphia 76ers, clearly Ben Simmons feels betrayed and he no longer might see eye to eye with Joel Embiid anymore, because apparently he's curving Joel Embiid's phone calls as well. The question I asked in the previous video we made in this situation is, at what point do the Philadelphia 76ers need to be concerned about their ability to retain Joel Embiid? Because Joel Embiid is is set to hit free agency within the next couple of years as well. Well, the good news about that is, according to Ramona Shelburne, the player that came in second in MVP voting last season, Joel Embiid, has agreed to a 4-year, $196 million Supermax contract extension. The deal is obviously fully guaranteed, haha, take that NFL, and contains a player option for the 26 to the 27 season. Embiid's extension will begin in the 23 to 24 season and is based off of a projected $124.95 million salary cap for that season. Now, here's the super cool part. Joel Embiid represented himself in these negotiations with the Philadelphia 76ers, which I think is a cool move, but you would think that more superstar free agents would be doing this, considering that, no duh, Joel Embiid is going to be getting a Supermax contract extension. Why pay an agency a percentage of that money when you could get all the money yourself, when it's clear what kind of contract you're worth and what kind of contract you deserve to be paid? Regardless, I wanted to give the Philadelphia 76ers a huge pat on the back because I was worried about Joel Embiid a little bit more than I was worried about Ben Simmons. So the fact that they've locked him down for another 4 years, means that the 2026 to 2027 offseason can potentially be one of the craziest free agencies that we've ever seen. Luka Doncic also becomes a free agent during the 2027 offseason. I know it's like 6 years away, but still, it's something to bear in mind. But in regards to Ben Simmons, I think we all expected a trade one way or another. And the interesting part of this situation is Ben Simmons made it clear that he wants to be traded. And he even said that he'd be open to any of the Los Angeles teams or the Golden State Warriors, which I don't know how plausible that is, guys, because I'm sure Ben Simmons already understands the salary cap enough to understand that there's no way that the Los Angeles Lakers could acquire him unless if they give up Anthony Davis or LeBron James or Russell Westbrook. I just don't see that happening. Maybe the Los Angeles Clippers can make it happen, but they just simply don't have the assets to make it happen, so I don't think that's going to happen either. And the Warriors are kind of torn in regards to him because they have all these young players in addition to Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Steph Curry. So is it really worth giving up players like Andrew Wiggins and James Wiseman and maybe either Jonathan Kuminga or Moses Moody in order to get back a player like Ben Simmons in return when that could possibly make your team worse? Well, it's debatable. Now, the latest part of this saga is really strange, and it's from a guy that's consistently given us fairly accurate news, and that's Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report. Now check this out. The Philadelphia 76ers are widely expected to keep Ben Simmons when training camp opens on September 28th, unless the Portland Trailblazers make Damian Lillard available in a trade package. So far, the 76ers have sought a James Harden-like package for Ben Simmons in trade talks with other teams. Philadelphia would theoretically like to flip that package to the Blazers for Lillard should a trade materialize that meets those standards. A trade of Ben Simmons is widely considered as an inevitability, but the 76ers are not prepared to rush a deal. Simmons expects to be traded and has not personally been in close contact with Daryl Morey, Joel Embiid, or Doc Rivers this offseason. Simmons' camp has canvassed the league, gauging their interest in creating a new home for him, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, Golden State Warriors, Sacramento Kings, and San Antonio Spurs have been the teams most consistently linked with Simmons. I actually like Ben Simmons on the Spurs, man, because if Greg Popovich could fix Kawhi Leonard's jumper when Kawhi Leonard was young, then I'm sure he could help Ben Simmons out. Now, here's where this gets interesting, because this ties in another saga that I believe deserves its own video, and that's Damian Lillard. You see, Damian Lillard went to the Portland Trailblazers, and there was this one day, it was like a frenzy. Me and my buddies were putting out videos, and it was the day that Damian Lillard was rumored to demand a trade. I waited till the last second. I got you guys the accurate information. I'm glad I called that out properly, but in the last second, he decided not to demand a trade and said that the Portland Trailblazers really need to get him help. Well, they went into this offseason, and they actually got way worse. I mean, they lost Carmelo Anthony, and then they also lost Zach Collins, and they lost Enes Kanter, and I think Carmelo Anthony and Enes Kanter could have been retained for fairly cheap, but they really didn't add anyone of substance. Ben McLemore and Cody Zeller. So there aren't really any other moves that they can make apart from like a CJ McCollum trade. So the time is ticking, no pun intended, on what the Portland Trail Blazers would elect to do with Damian Lillard. Because I can't imagine Damian Lillard is exactly happy with the current makeup of the roster, and a Damian Lillard trade to the Philadelphia 76ers would definitely make them a contender for the NBA Finals. But regardless, Damian Lillard doesn't really have a lot of leverage in that situation either, because the first year of his Supermax contract extension kicks in this year, and his contract doesn't expire until the 2025 season when he's going to be 35 years old. So it's a really sticky situation, man. It's not as easy as you guys think, because I don't think the Blazers are really that interested in Ben Simmons, and I think they're overvaluing Ben Simmons as well. But we'll keep a lookout on this saga because it's very interesting to say the least. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think is going to happen with Ben Simmons? Do you think he's going to hold out of training camp, or do you think he's going to show up and just try to play another season? Do you think he's going to get traded, and for what and where? What's Ben Simmons' value currently is probably the best question to ask you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And oh, by the way, I've been posting shorter versions of my videos onto TikTok, so if you're into that, make sure to check us out on TikTok. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.